Did you know that according to NHS, 1 in 3 adults suffers from insomnia? And what's more, over 40% of adults get less than 6 hours sleep. Hello, I hope you're loving life today. I'm in my pajamas because in this video I'm going to talk to you about sleep. As sleep is such an essential part of being healthy, I want to touch on this subject and tell you a bit more about sleep and why it's so important and how and what we can do to improve our sleep quality. The first thing that I want to touch on, and I think it should be advice number one, but it's just a thing that I want to touch on, is the first thing: we need to change our mindset, because most of us as adults think that in order to be successful, in order to do a lot of things, we need to cut down on our sleep. And a lot of us think, oh, I'm going to sleep when I'm dead, so that's not important. And that's a very wrong mindset, because sleep is such an important part in us being able to be successful, being able to do what we need to do when we're awake, that we need to change our mindset, and we need to view sleep as a very dear friend. Research shows that in only 24 hours of sleep deprivation, the level of glucose reaching the brain drops by 6%. Simply what this means is that you're just getting dumber. And this is one of the reasons why we crave sweet things when we are sleep deprived. Just so you understand a bit more of why sleep is important and what it's doing to our body, I'm going to give you a few examples of what happens to our body when we're asleep, and a few good things basically of what happens to our body when we're asleep. So one of the really good things that happens when we are asleep is that our brain processes and sorts out the daily information. So sometimes we tend to think that our brain shuts down when we're asleep, and is completely opposite to that, because during sleep our brain sorts out all the information that we got during the day. And what this basically does, this is responsible for creating long-term memories, because the brain sorts out the information, then it just puts it away in a nice neat place where you can access it later on. Another very important thing that happens when we are asleep is the hormones flow through our body, and one of the most important ones is the pituitary gland, that during sleep releases growth hormones. And you might think, as an adult, I'm an adult, I don't need growth hormones. Yeah, that's fine, you don't really need it, but the growth hormone also has the role of healing your body, not just growing it. So during sleep, basically our body heals itself. Another great thing is that during sleep your sympathetic nervous system chills out. So your sympathetic nervous system is the one that is responsible for the flight or fight response, and during the day when we're awake is always active, and basically our system is always ready to do something. During sleep this system chills out because we don't need to, we're not in any danger when we sleep. And scientists who research coronary diseases have reached the conclusion that there's a very strong connection between sleep deprivation and heart disease. So that's something to think about and to bear in mind. Another thing that happens when we sleep is the cortisol level drop drastically during sleep. As most of you might know, cortisol is the one that is responsible. Cortisol is called the stress hormone, basically. But at the same time, cortisol is responsible for us getting up in the morning and being perky. Well, during the night, the level of cortisol drops and the level of melatonin rises. But when we wake up in the morning, cortisol is way up, and our appetite awakens with that also. So our appetite drops during the night due to the fact that our cortisol level drops. And this is another thing that, and this is the last one that I'm going to mention, is that during sleep our immune system releases inflammation, fighting, and I will need to read this, cytokines, cytokines. I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing this correctly. But basically, what this says is that whilst we sleep, if we have any inflammation or any disease, our immune system is fighting that, is releasing these proteins, because this word that I can't pronounce is a protein, is releasing this protein in our body and is helping us fight inflammation. Okay, so these are just a few of the wonderful things that happen with our body when we sleep, and that's why sleep is really important. And that's why we have to think of the quality of sleep that we're getting, not necessarily, well, the quantity is important also, don't get me wrong, but it's very important the quality of sleep that we're getting. And there's a few simple things, if you think about it. I'll give you a few simple things, as I said, that you can do, starting from now if you want, that will drastically improve the quality of your sleep. And I'm saying this because I've tried it and I was suffering from insomnia. I was I was very tired all the time, and since I've implemented these things in my life, I've noticed I've noticed a really big change in my life and in the way I sleep, and in basically I can go to bed and sleep, which is amazing. So number one, I would say a good sleep starts in the morning. And what I mean by this is, I don't mean that your best sleep is in the morning when your alarm goes off and you're like, oh, I would like to stay in bed and sleep more, but I have to wake up. No, to say that in the morning you need to prepare and start the morning right in order to get a good night's sleep. So number one is move in the morning. Um, you don't need to kill yourself and do really fancy exercises, or I don't know, anything really fancy. Just if you go for a brisk walk 10-15 minutes in the morning, or if you do a bit of yoga in the morning, that will help your body and it will set you up for an amazing day and an amazing good night's sleep. Because what that will do is it will help your body wake up first of all, and then it will help release all those hormones that your body needs during the day, and then it will be much easier for you to wind down when you need to go to bed. No. Number two is get more sunlight during the day. How does this work? Very simple. Sun triggers your body to wake up and be alert. Sunlight triggers your body to release the daytime hormones and neurotransmitters, and this helps to regulate your biological clock. So basically, your body will know that is bedtime because it's kind of setting itself up to the sun, if that makes sense. Number three is have a bedtime ritual. So from now on, you should treat going to bed as going to a date with your very best friend's sleep. So as you get prepared for a date, you should do the same when you want to go to bed. And one of the first things you need to do is an hour before sleep, an hour before your designated time of sleep. So let's say you want to go to bed and be asleep at 10 o'clock. At 9 o'clock in the evening, you need to shut down every electronic device. And I mean every electronic device, TV, laptop, phone, tablet, any of them. You need to basically take a break an hour before bed from all of them. And you're going to use this hour to get ready for your date with sleep. So you're going to do your nighttime routine, brush your teeth, take a shower, whatever you do. And in the remaining time, you can do other things, like you can read a book, or you can listen to an audio book, or you can listen to a podcast. You can just talk to your loved one. You can meditate, you can journal. There are a lot of things that we can do without doing them on our phone or on our tablet. It's just a matter of imagination, I think. And you will see once you get into the routine of doing this, it will be easier and you'll come up with different things to do. And that hour goes by so fast. It might go slow at the beginning, but then it goes by so fast, and you're big like, oh, okay, an hour's passed, I need to go to bed. Number 4 is detox your bedroom. Your brain is programmed to do certain things in certain rooms. What I mean by this, I think it happened to all of us. You just go into the kitchen in the morning when you're a bit asleep, and you just automatically put the kettle on. And that's because you've already trained your brain that that's what you do in the morning, and that in the kitchen is the kettle, and that's what you do. Well, it's the same with your bedroom. If you do a lot of other things in your bedroom, like watch TV, answer emails, do work, or anything, your brain is going to be a bit confused because it's not going to associate your bedroom with sleep. It will associate it maybe with anything else but sleep. So the first thing you need to do is basically remove all the electronic devices that we talked about earlier. You just need to remove them from your bedroom. There's no place for them there because you're going to have an hour before you go to sleep, and that's going to be the preparation. So you won't need them in your bedroom. And you just need to create your bedroom like a sort of sanctuary, if you will, a sanctuary for sleep. So you can add some plants, change the light, and it's actually very recommended to change the light from a blue light to a yellow one. So you can buy a salt lamp, or you can just go back to the old-fashioned candles and just create that space and try to rewire your brain and retrain your brain to associate the bedroom with only the two big S's, sleep and sex. Also, it's very important to air it out. So in the morning, open the windows, air it out. The fresh air is really good because the ions in the room change, and that is going to affect your sleep. So you need to always have a nice, fresh smelling bed. Number 5 is no caffeine consumption after noon. And when I say caffeine, I don't mean coffee necessarily. I mean everything that contains caffeine. Coffee, tea, chocolate, anything that might contain caffeine. There's a lot of things. If you want, you can find many lists on the internet with what might contain caffeine. So all of them, you need to stop putting them in your body. And the reason why, there was a study that was done where different participants were given caffeine, and some of them were given caffeine immediately before bed, some of them were given caffeine 3 hours before bed, and some of them were given caffeine 6 hours before bed. And the result was that the ones who were given caffeine 6 hours before bed lost an hour of sleep. And the results of the study were measured two ways. They were measured objectively by different devices that measured this, and they were also measured subjectively by the participants journaling how they felt and what they felt asleep. And the scary thing is that I think a lot of us don't realize is that what they've come up with in this study is that basically the participants who lost an hour of sleep, they didn't realize they lost an hour of sleep, because objectively it was shown that an hour of their sleep was not deep sleep, which is the one that creates all the great things that I've talked to you at the beginning and some more. They were asleep, but they weren't in deep sleep. So in their mind and from their subjective notes, they were under the impression that they slept. And with caffeine, you go into this vicious circle, because caffeine is quite a smart little substance, and it has the power to fit into the receptors of adenosine. And adenosine is the one that in our brain is the one that is telling us that we are tired, so basically we need to go to bed. Well, when caffeine fits into these receptors, the information that our brain gets is that we're fine, we can keep going, but actually we're not. We're tired, but we don't. Our brain doesn't perceive that because it can't perceive the adenosine that is going there. So the adenosine is still going there and it's accumulating and accumulating, but you can't really, the brain can't really tell you that it's tired because caffeine is there. So you're getting even tired, even tired, even tired. So you're getting into this vicious circle. And most people, when they're tired because they haven't had enough sleep or they haven't had enough deep sleep, what do? They drink some coffee or some tea. Well, they get some caffeine in their body. So then you get into this circle where you basically making yourself even more tired, and you think that you're not. So that's the deal with caffeine. Number 6 is make it dark. And what I mean by this is just get some blackout curtains and make your bedroom really dark. And what this will do, it will help you. It will help your sleep because you might think that you might get one of those masks that you just put over your eyes and you'll be fine. And some people actually do that. According to a study that was done at the University of Cornell, a fiber cable light bulb was placed under the knee of a subject, and the subjects were sleeping in a completely dark room. The result was that the temperature of the subjects raised and also the melatonin secretion has fallen just due to a little teeny light bulb that was placed under the knee. And this is due to the fact that our whole skin has light sensors, so it perceives like light just like our eyes do. So that's why it's really important in your room to be completely dark. And sleep experts call light during the night, they call it light pollution. That's because light during the night has been proven to drop the production of melatonin by 50%. Number 7 is make it cool. Thermoregulation influences the body and the body's sleep cycles. As we fall asleep, our body temperature drops, and according to a study that done at Harvard Medical School, this is what is helping our bodies go to sleep. Experts recommend keeping your bedroom between 16 and 20 degrees Celsius. There were studies that were done on insomniacs where they found that actually insomniacs have a higher temperature before they go to sleep, and what they did is actually they've used different devices to cool the body temperature of the persons who suffer from insomnia, and due to this they fell asleep faster and they actually had a better sleep than the control group of people who didn't have any insomnia. I know that 60 to 20 degrees, if you think about it, for some of you might sound like it's nuts and it's too cold. Well, there are studies also that were done, and apparently warm hands and feet are a good sign of the body falling asleep. So just put some socks on and go to bed. Tip number 8 is get the power sleep. What I mean by that is there's studies who reach the conclusion that the highest production of hormones is between the hours of 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. So this is basically the most important time when we need to be asleep, because this is the time where our body does all those wonderful things for us. And I know it might be hard to go to sleep at 10 p.m. Sorry, if you don't normally do that. So just try to lower your. So let's say if your bedtime is 11 p.m. for instance, try to get to 10 p.m. by lowering it by 15 minutes once every other day. So today you're going to go to bed at a quarter before 11, and then 2 days after you're going to go to bed at 10:30, and so forth until you reach 10 o'clock. And you do this with any time that you actually go to bed now. Well, those are the tips. I've only came up with 8 because, well, that's the number that I came up with. Uh, I do hope that will help you get a better sleep. These are informations that I mostly collected. Sorry, I'm just going through the book. That I mostly collected from this wonderful book. It's called Sleep Smarter, and as you can see, it's really heavily bookmarked. Because in this book you can find 21, I think 21, yeah, 21 um, tips and a lot of scientific information, a lot of studies you can find in here, and that will explain what you need to do to get that really great sleep. Um, Sorry, the author is Sean Stevens. I'll put the name of the book and author in the description box below. I do hope that you will try at least some of these tips, and if you do, please let me know how you get on. Write me in the comment section below and let me know how you get on and if you feel that your sleep has improved. If you like this video and you found good information and that you think will help you improve your health, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed yet, please click on this button here and subscribe to my channel. And if you want to see more videos, there might be one showing up here, so you can click on that. I'm posting videos every week, every Saturday, and I hope to see you in the next one. Don't forget to love yourself and love life with everything that it has to offer. Bye!